Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Lab.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So it is Thursday, and it's been quite a week. Don't know what to say except for me, it's been a little bit of a frustrating week full of potholes. What does that mean? It means that, remember last week the Fed met. We had a nice Thursday, Friday move. Had a bunch of positions on, positions that I thought would do well, besides day trading setups. And it just feels like, every day there was some kind of disaster within the 5-6 names that you happen to hold. Okay, so what do you do about it? You figure it out, you salvage it, and hopefully it doesn't take away from the good trades. So if you follow, if you remember, Thursday into Friday, let's just go to the chart real quick. First of all, that was right here. Okay, right here, is when the market seemed as if it was going to hold this prior pivot, hold bigger support, which it has and it still has, and gave you that nice 2-day move. Okay, within that move, there was a bunch of stocks to hold, right? You had high beta tech acting decent, and there were some things to try and stay involved in. Okay, and then if you remember, that was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, filled the gap, wasn't anything special, and then we came in on this Friday. Yeah, that was Friday. That was a Friday that Facebook announced the metrics of their videos that were off, and that was when I had probably like 4 or 5 positions. I sold some strength. It was a great 2 days, and then all of a sudden Facebook, I was like, what's going to happen here? But anyway, that was that Friday where Facebook was one of the 6-7 positions I was holding, and made you stressed out about the rest. And that was just whatever. That was Friday. So then if you came in on Monday, you had another down day, and so that wasn't so much fun either. You had Google down, you had all these things down, and then Google was down pretty big. I remember that day actually. Google gave you an inside day, and I'll get into that after. But anyway, here we are. You had a nice little red dog reversal. Okay, so here was another day and a half move, and then today, not the end of the world, but things are definitely feeling vulnerable. What do I mean by vulnerable? There's a camp that's saying, you have this, basic head and shoulders top pattern that the market's not out of the woods, and we're going to see something very volatile going into the first 2 weeks of October. So the pattern that they're pointing out is this potential, head and shoulders top pattern. Sometimes it resolves, sometimes it doesn't. Here's the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. It seemed as if there was a potential of busting out of the right shoulder and going back up and not working out. With today's action and the way some things look, maybe that's not the case. Maybe at some point, next week we do, break this little rising channel here as well as neckline to the downside. Okay, we'll see. If that's the case, then, we're going to probably see, a move down to the 200-day. It's going to be hard to do that with oil, so strong. But anyway, a lot of choppy craziness in there. Okay, so going back to individual stocks, we've had a lot of good setups, this week, and some of them worked out well, whether there were the new issues, and some, individual names, and some were just disasters. Okay, so let's start out with Facebook, and then we'll go where it is now. Facebook, to me, seems vulnerable. Okay, I did have it, when it looked as if it was heading back to highs and had that gap down, and that wasn't fun. At this point now, still in this, I'm going to draw the line here. Still okay. It was weaker all day today. If you're drawing a wedge type pattern, you want to make sure this doesn't resolve to the downside. Overall, that Friday was one of those days which wasn't fun. Okay, then if you remember with Google, Google on that Friday gave you that, sense of, security there, where you're like, oh, the Dow's down 150 points and Google's looks okay, and so I think I added to my Google on this day, thinking, okay, Google's going to be great. It's holding above this prior move. Let's rock and roll, and then that happened. So that was the Monday. That was the bad Monday. Then Tuesday, it looked good, right? Why not? We engulfed it, and then all of a sudden, the day after, we got that downgrade, and had to reduce a little bit. It was fine, and now today, you have a bit of a topping tail. So if you want to expand this like this, with the way this has been trading, it's hard to sit in it. I would think. But so that was just kind of this disaster du jour. We made good money in it here and there, but you haven't been able to buy high and sell higher that often, except for these 2 days here. So anyway, a little bit of a topping tail. So now we'll figure out if this holds in here, or or it helps the market get pressured. Okay, early next week. But overall, that's not on a day trading basis. A swing trade, if you're long versus here, it's fine. But on a day trading basis, this is not telling you to be long it, especially considering that other things broke out and this couldn't. Amazon was one of the few names that did work for us. At this point, you do have a bit of a topping tail here. Okay, so with the extended from the 8 day, I would not be long this. The time to have been long this is when it broke above 807, and now looks as if it could come in a little bit. That was a nice, with the best 2 day trade we had with Amazon was right here. Open, poked its head, cleared this spot, gave you another day, then gave you another trade. So this acted just fine. No potholes in that, but a lot of us sold it and didn't go back to it. Like, I didn't trade this little 3 day move here. I traded other things, which didn't work. And then, we've had a lot of success with BABA. BABA from 85 to 110. Lots of great money there. So yesterday, being long small made a little sense, right? Because market had a 2 day rally, high beta techs acting okay. Why not be long a little BABA? So was long a little BABA, added to it a little bit too early, and got stopped out. Is it the end of the world in BABA? No. But kind of see this 21 day now? Yeah, why not? It's come a long way. So for me, just kind of, it was not a great trade. I came in long. I bought more at 107, I think, pre-market. I think, which is just dumb, I guess. I saw the Deutsche Bank upgrade, so I was buying some more at 107, and I think held through pretty well. Was waiting, and then on this, little break to the downside, I just hit it out before that, and then it did a whole lot of nothing. But just again, so you had BABA, Google downgrade, BABA, stats, Google downgrade, Facebook video metrics. All three of them had a disaster. So it took me away from other things that were set up and better. Okay, we did have some good setups, right? LN was awesome. Obviously probably didn't apply enough capital to this one, but all in all, LN, gave you a really nice day trade, or a nice swing trade. We were in it for a week, okay, from here, okay, and then it gave you the breakout, and then today I was buying it. I just put all bids in at 48.5 down to 48 because I was so busy in BABA saying I'll buy it into here, and it gave you a good trade. But obviously, it's never enough when something bad happens, and you never do enough somewhere else when you're focused on what's hurting you. You had your topping tail here, so to go home flat made sense, and then you had, boom, this nice little rebuy. Still looks okay. While that happened also, unfortunately, I talked about ELF with you guys, but I missed the trade because I was trading other things. Yes, it came back in and kind of failed, but there was a nice, if you focused on it early, guys made a lot of money day trading this thing. Look at this quick move above the pivot. This was the pivot, boom. I was too busy buying, bobbing, not having fun. Anyway, at this point, it's loose and wide. It's going to take some time. I guess one thing we did do well is yesterday we caught Trade Desk, TTD, real strong. And I was a little worried about going out long it on the day 3 because day 3s are my sell, not my buys, but I stayed with it just in case we had follow through. Pre-market, I was selling 33.50s, and I got stopped out at 32.50, and thank goodness. I lost a little bit, and I could have lost a hell of a lot more. Look at the size of that bar. So obviously this is going to take some time. Maybe we'll see if there's a red dog reversal here tomorrow. Maybe not. But, at least, this didn't hold this, so that could have been your stop versus sitting in the whole way down. These, IPOs could definitely be good opportunities, but there's also not a lot of institutional support, not a lot of data. So if you trade it wrong, you can get hurt. I know guys that were buying 33 yesterday and held this whole time, and now like, oh, what do I do? Thank goodness that wasn't us. We were long here, added, and then just held small and got stopped out. But so one of the few things. Oil, the guys that took XLE and UWTI from the chat and USO, gave you some nice follow through. USO closed real strong. I wonder if oil was down, what would have happened today? So we'll see if if they really do cut, maybe there'll be a little bit of a bid in the market for oil. But if oil starts to come into this area and get rejected again, that could be a headwind too. What else? This EVBG, I had it for a little bit and didn't work yet, so I figured I'd wait. Looks good, still wedging at some point. I would think that we could get a good trade here, but not quite ready yet. It's considering some of the, you see something like TTD, some people say, oh, let me just be careful. I can't have too much size here because of other things working. So you'll see and wait for that one. ACIA still hasn't announced a secondary. Tried to be strong for the majority of the day and still hanging in there. 50 days getting closer at 96-ish. So maybe if they announce a secondary, just got to be careful because of the size of the move this has had from here. So that's why guys are waiting to see, do they price it really in the hole? Do they price it at the money and then you bounce? So keep an eye on that. And then obviously the news that shocked the market was Deutsche Bank. A lot of hedge funds pulling out counterparty risk. We've all seen this before in 2007 and 8, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see what it evolves or how it transpires. And all of a sudden, back down near historic lows. And I don't think there's anyone I know, long it. And if you've been taking my courses and learning my education, below the 200-day, you're not a holder of something. So, this broke below the 200-day at 31. So at 11, it's not your problem. It could be a trade here and there, and it could be a problem if it affects the market to go lower and you have too many longs. But that's it. So in closing, there's been a lot to do, and so sometimes things just don't fall your way. The same way in blackjack, you get an 11 versus a 6. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to double down, right? 11 versus 6, why not? And then all of a sudden you get a 5, and then you're like, oh, I didn't get a face card. I didn't get the high probability 21. All right, hopefully the dealer busts. The dealer all of a sudden turns over a 5 underneath to his 6, and then he gets a 9, he's got a 20, and he takes all your money. That's just a broken hand. The worst thing would be, just for one more analogy, is if all of a sudden you get like, 2 5s versus a 5, and you're like, oh, well, let me split that. You split it, you get a 6, and you get another 5. Like, oh my God, I got to double down on 11. You pull a 4. You're like, I got to double down here. You have 10. You get an 8, and then all of a sudden the dealer turns over a 5 and gets a face card, gets a 20, and wipes everything out. That's a tougher broken hand. That hasn't happened, but I'm just saying there are things you got to do. There are rules you got to play by, and sometimes you hit a pothole, but that's why you have to blow off some steam, relax, and get ready for the next sequence of events. So tomorrow I'm running a race. I'm doing my first race since back surgery. I know a lot of you guys were concerned. Remember December I had back surgery, L4, L5. Been training lightly, doing a race this weekend. It's a full 24-hour race with 8 guys. It's a relay. It's over 24 hours, so you run a total of 14 miles, and it's race day. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. If we happen to have a big gap down, maybe I'll trade and I'll post a few things. If we open up and there's no good setup, I'm just going to wait, because you also have the Jewish holiday Sunday, and then we'll see how things shake out. So for me, I am flat besides some options, and I will revisit if there's a conducive open tomorrow with opportunity. I'll trade a little bit before I leave. If not, I'm just going to let the weekend happen and then start off fresh next week. And hopefully, we have October. There's been some ghosts and goblins and big bottoms, but they don't happen this way. They usually happen on a Tuesday. So we'll see, where we are then. And that's that. Hopefully all is well and you had a good day, and I will be in touch tomorrow. Bye-bye.